you take something out of context, you can make someone say anything. It feels like he was just waiting for me to say something awful, like that I think sinners deserve the extermination because they're bad people.
Breaking news. Charlie Morningstar claims that sinners deserve to be exterminated.
Why is this scene just...
All Fred Jones had to say was,
I think Coolsville sucks.
Hey, so I watched season 2 of Hazbin Hotel and I found it to be frustrating. But through the process of rewatching season 1, which I've covered before, I think it turned me into a fan. I'm kind of expecting that you've already seen the season, so just be warned that there will be spoilers and nitpicking ahead. Like how this snazzy blue title card variant was made only for promotional purposes, so why wasn't it used in any of the episodes this season when it could have been? Let's start with some positives.
Yes!
I think the biggest upgrade is that episode runtimes are no longer locked to 25 minutes. Above all else, that means there's now room for up to 3 songs per episode. Nearly every musical number in season 1 was either a duet or ensemble piece. So now we get our first solo songs, or lengthy solo sections, for Vox, Husk, Lucifer, and Nifty. Her song is tailor-made for people who couldn't get enough of panty and stocking if it was written by Vivzy Pop. Kudos to When I Think About the Future for being a One Day More inspired ensemble piece in the penultimate episode of the season that hops between all of the major players and sets the stage for the climax. It feels exactly like the kind of thing season 1 would have included if it had the time for it. Between this and the homage to Telephone Hour from Bye Bye Birdie, I appreciate the increase in theater kid energy. It's weird that the South Park movie paid tribute to the same Les Mis song while also having demonic characters sing about yearning to be up there. I don't even need to play the audio at this point. You already know the point I'm making. I honestly think this season has a stronger selection of vocal tracks because of the emphasis on character spotlights over exposition. There aren't too many new additions to the cast, so the songs no longer have to focus as much on selling new settings or dynamics. They've stomped out their bad habit of suddenly dropping big character turns for people we just met, like Emily standing up to Sarah in You Didn't Know. Sarah herself is more likable because there's glimpses into how much she struggles with how to protect heaven from hell. Feeling regret over allowing the annual exterminations to occur with the knowledge that its population could have been redeemed all along. She's far more open to the feedback of her peers, ultimately accepting that the best way to deal with sinners is to trust one. Going from accusing Sir Pentious of breaking into heaven to accepting his plan is a solid arc for Sarah. As for Charlie, the way she feels betrayed by Vaggi due to a miscommunication comes off like a repeat of a similar plot beat from season 1. But as someone who otherwise had a reactive role across those first 8 episodes, I appreciate how we saw her grief towards Pentious' passing, and frustration at the V's spread of misinformation manifest itself in ways that put both her friends and the hotel at risk, which she's rightfully called out for.
You're hyper-fixating on what he's saying about you.
Because he's hurting the hotel. He is ruining.
Charlie, you are hurting the hotel.
Charlie and Sarah don't make the smartest choices when learning their respective lessons. I can see why fans have gotten frustrated with them getting in their own way or falling for Vox's traps. Like, I do think the attempt to redeem angel dust or pacify sinners with gift baskets are pretty ridiculous if you view them as actual people instead of storytelling devices. I feel similarly about Lucifer getting tricked by Vox. Mythology-wise, the king of hell shouldn't be subdued by a weaker demon, and the fact that he's trapped and barely even tries to escape on his own is a little disappointing, but at least there is a reason as to why his powers are limited.
I'll let you in on a little secret. I cannot smite him. No, it's kind of part of the whole hell thing. You see, it isn't just a place, it's a punishment, and mine is that I'm stuck here with all these sinners.
I see Charlie and Sarah's decisions as growing pains for their personal journeys, turning them into more experienced leaders and turning Sarah into this crazy angelic swan. Absolutely bonkers design I'm kind of glad they went for. The way she blinks out of sync is fun.
Hey, have you ever heard of a blobfish?
What?
Check this out. How cute is that?
Why are you like this?
This clip has nothing to do with this part of the video. I just like it. I find the way that the story follows up on season 1 is pretty satisfying too. It's commendable how every plot point its final song highlighted or alluded to is followed up. The V's making moves to take over hell, Lucifer and Sherry Bomb becoming more involved with the hotel, Alistair trying to break the constraints of his powers, and Pentious becoming officially redeemed as a new resident of heaven. Because of all this clear foreshadowing, completely new developments like Adam having a son son, who takes up his role as Exorcist Commander instead of Lute, and Rosie owning Alistair's soul both feel like they came out of nowhere. They especially stand out when there's plenty of casual callbacks to last season strewn throughout that add more cohesive tissue, like Alistair and Mimsy knowing each other on Earth, or Nifty being camera shy. The lengthy stretch in the second episode of the series that introduces the V's works a lot better now that we have the storyline it was setting up. I was under the impression that Lute was supposed to get a bump in status based on the season 1 cliffhanger, and the tension between Rosie and Alistair is brand new, but I'd say both revelations work, deepening the characters or handing them a new hurdle to overcome. I know that Alistair being on a leash is teased before Rosie is introduced. This kindly lady having a controlling side makes sense, because she's an overlord in hell. It just strikes me as unusual, since having control over Alistair now defines Rosie completely. It's the difference between concepts that give off the vibe that this is the second half of season 1 versus ones wholly created for the second season. Not to say that the latter is bad, it just sticks out when Alistair and Rosie's shared screen time goes from this,
Alistair! Where have you been? These halls really lost some of their sparkle without your lively presence.
to this.
Don't you forget, you are my pet.
The episode Hazbin Hotel Behind Closed Doors runs into a problem unique to this series, where it wants to spin Pentious and Cherry's violent turf war rivalry into an enemies to lovers style romance. Yet the only time we saw them fight was in the pilot, which is not available on Prime Video and is seemingly no longer canon. We were just told about their dynamic with each other when they met. It's another way that season 1 really rushed Pentious' redemption.
Well, if it isn't my arch nemesis, have you come to meet your fate in battle, Cherry Bomb?
Apparently.
In order to make their love work, flashbacks to Pentious and Cherry brawling are inserted into their power ballad duet, which is called Piss. First Amazon uploads Piss, then DEI, they continue to sink lower and lower. Personally, Piss being one of the best songs in the season makes it easy to overlook the plot hole it's trying to fill. It helps that afterwards, the pair doesn't rush into their new relationship. Cherry herself even takes small steps towards her redemption.
Cherry? Miss Bomb! Oh, I can't tell you how long I've been wanting to speak with you one more time. So, how's it going?
Going back to the songs, my favorite has to be the jazzy Broadway-style show tune, Love in a Bottle, partially just because of how great this sequence looks. Husk abandons the hotel to gamble and drink his cares away at a casino, the place where he feels the most at home. That's right, Husk is never coming back to the hotel ever again.
I'll give him a week.
I'll give him 11 minutes.
The setting really encompasses his aesthetics as a card-themed bartender, dancing around slot machines and drowning in scotch. Keith David is great as Husk. He's really great when singing as Husk, and he's especially great when drunk as Husk.
Here's to you, baby.
During the bridge, the lineless neon style reminds me of his duet with Angel Dust last season, Loser Baby. Except now, Husk is losing at all the games he's desperately throwing himself into. This time, he's the one who needs guidance. I dig the way that the musical numbers often parallel each other, whether it's through reprises or shared themes and structures. I'm so glad I found this tweet that illustrates my point for me. Add in Zach Haydel occasionally screaming in the background, and you have my favorite sequence of the series so far.
This place hasn't changed a bit.
All the unique incidentals designed specifically for this location also give it some extra life, such as these Demon Cat Girl backup singers, each sporting different outfits but unified color palettes. Due to how much of the season focuses on rallying hell together against heaven, there's so many terrific incidentals wherever we go. Whether it's an angelic court or hellish gala, there was definitely a boost in visual quality. No more doll-like expressions, awkward camera moves, or extra flourishes needlessly added to a standard shot. Now the expressions make characters like Charlie feel far goofier, turnaround shots are more complex, and musical numbers or fights are faster, or rightfully have a higher amount of detail, especially when it comes to movement or lighting effects. The extended battles in Curtain Call successfully convinced me that a 2D Hazbin Hotel fighting game would be a great piece of merchandise. I will take it over Funko Pops any day.
Do you think I could be redeemed?
I believe anyone can be redeemed.
Vox feels like a villain in a live-action Disney remake where he gets far more screen time than he should without the development to back it up. This is going to be the less nice section of the video. I get that the intent for him was to be a very traditionally evil villain, But learning more about Vox's plan and seeing it come together doesn't add more layers to his character. From his singing parts in the season premiere, we already know why he's seeking power and how willing he is to push the rest of the V's aside to accomplish his goals. It never gets deeper than that, and no, him being racist does not count.
Cha-cha-cha! Stop it!
We see enough of Vox's plan being formed for his victories to feel earned. I can buy how hopeless this situation becomes for our heroes with how personal all of his attacks on the hotel are. But he gets too much focus. Vox captures Alistair, Vox makes the deal with Carmilla Carmine, Vox hypnotizes Angel Dust. However, in a season where they're supposed to be the main antagonist, we barely learn anything about the other Vs. All we get is a deeper dive into Velvet's admittedly cool witch-based powers, and Valentino is supposed to be sympathetic now that Vox is ignoring him. I know Valentino was introduced as Angel's physically abusive boss, but I guess I should forget that now? Maybe it's just me, but the show's a little harder to like with how often it flip-flops on taking assault seriously. Unfortunately, while Vox's plan successfully takes Charlie's powerful allies away from her, it has the side effect of benching multiple characters. Some of the Angels also get sidelined. You have Patrick Stump voicing Abel, and it's only once we reach the season finale that he gets to sing more than a few lines. There's no time to give him anything else. Vox needs to have 5 songs with notable solos. Lute is set up as if she's going to get her revenge on Hell early on with another banger song. All this amounts to is her attacking Vaggi for a minute in the final battle. Adam's ghost doesn't talk to her again. He ruined her realistic depiction of a panic attack for nothing.
Wow, someone's menstruating.
More importantly, Alistair, Angel, and Lucifer are either out of commission or have reduced roles for a few episodes in the back half of the season. Even if they still show up from time to time, these 3 are no longer able to bounce off of the hotel staff and contribute to the overall plot. Cherry Bomb doesn't have a lot to do either, but I found that easy to forget with how many scenes she has chatting in the lobby with Angel or Husk. I know that Alistair purposely surrenders to make Vox think that he's the strongest sinner in hell, but I'm confused about how this plan frees Alistair from his deal with Rosie. Alistair got his power after Rosie promised to make him the strongest sinner in hell. And now that Vox claims that title, the Radio Demon still has his power, but Rosie no longer has control over him? Is it because the Princess of Hell declared Vox to be the strongest? Is this linked to a part of Alistair and Rosie's relationship we'll learn about later? As is, I'm confused by the logistics of what should be a satisfying turning point.
Your little power grab helped break another chain that's been holding me back for quite some time.
Here's another story beat involving Vox that didn't quite work for me. So the opening shot of the season 1 finale is Vox watching our heroes prepare for war through cameras inside and outside of the hotel, establishing that he could be spying on them at any point. Season 2 treats this like a major twist. We get the reveal that Vox has been hypnotizing Angel Dust and using him to get intel on the hotel's happenings.
How do you think I was always one step ahead of the princess? Or how I knew the angels were coming? Or that Lucifer couldn't do anything to me?
Structurally, this is supposed to function like when Charlie learns that Vaggi is a fallen angel. Both revelations are dropped at the end of the 6th episode in each season. But instead of foreshadowing this twist through visual cues or irrational behavior, the show does a poor job communicating that this is something the viewer should be looking out for. In Silenced, 1 episode prior, Vox repeats a secret about the limits of Lucifer's powers that he said in private to his face.
They didn't banish you, they clipped your wings and chained you down here!
Lucifer never questions how he knew that. There isn't a moment where Charlie or Vaggi try to crack down on Hazbin hotel leaks, which no one in real life did either. Later, we learn that Angel was on the other side of the door, listening to Lucifer's lore dump, but that wasn't hinted at in the moment. Sure, it might have led audiences to think something suspicious was going on, but I personally think that building intrigue instead of going all in on the surprise would have made this plot twist more compelling than confusing. I do think the fallout of this revelation works in how it makes Angel Dust fear hurting his friends. He decides to leave the hotel in order to save them. But again, we already know Vox has other methods of spying on the hotel, lessening the impact of this decision. Plus, Charlie is the one who asked for media coverage on her hotel and agreed to be interviewed on Vox's news station. Compared to Angel, she did way more to spread Vox's influence in the long run. I think the intent was to produce this mind-shattering twist for season 2 that would have built in rewatchability, but not enough dots were connected for it to hit like it should have. Maybe it would have worked better if they added funny cartoon sound effects. do think time will be kind to Season 2 of Hazbin Hotel once the series has more entries under its belt. It was more interested in working with the characters and dynamics it already set up than diving into something new. Nothing makes that more clear than both finales ending with a very similar cliffhanger, teasing that Charlie's mom Lilith will actually do something. You gotta start having Lilith show up more than once or twice a season. What is this, Frasier? This joke is just Prime Video cross-promotion if I'm going to be honest. I do think this batch of episodes excelled in making the appeal of this cartoon more clear. A larger Broadway influence in the songs, more fleshed out character development, higher quality animation, and new flashbacks that recontextualize the aesthetics and motivations of certain sinners. Now you can design your own OCs around how they died. It's like a cutie mark for the 2020s. Both seasons are just alright in my book. Hazbin is still quite the acquired taste, but I think what we got this year is a slightly stronger package, even if the writing is just as flawed. I'm cautiously optimistic about what will come next.
Another round!
Some issues I had are still intact, like abrupt song intros.
I'm a hypocrite and my dreams are gonna die.
Shut up, you know that I love you.
And awkward exposition.
What exercise could one do to be forgiven for being
Stop!
murderer?
Don't you dare call me that!
Killed your dad, right?
Getting real autistic Rick vibes from the confirmation of Charlie's sexuality.
Firstly, I'm bi.
Is this game popular with autistic people?
Why would you say something like that?
Because I'm starting to love it.
Part of me is disappointed that we got another season where a looming threat pits heaven and hell against each other, instead of really getting to know a batch of new sinners at the hotel. Like Hell of a Boss, the premise is perfect for episodic and character-driven stories that they don't go for. There was clearly a want to show newcomer Baxter and Nifty forming a bond over the course of the season, but it's just a background detail until the finale, which marks the first time they actually speak to each other. If Season 3 and onward will continue to raise the stakes and tackle bigger and bigger conflicts, then that's fine. I just hope it follows through with more plot points and gives its characters more than 1 or 2 moments to shine before pushing them aside. Like it sure would have been nice to see the influencer cult within V-Tower amount to anything, or Lucifer do more, before getting put into a jar, Rainbow Dash style. If you can tell stories that aren't crammed into 8 episodes, give your characters solid arcs that keep them competent, and don't require social media posts to explain your writing choices, then maybe next time I won't need to sound like I know how to make this TV show better than the people who make it. I can only take so many episodes of Vox or farming and going,
I'm so happy with my evil plan.
Hopefully future Hazbin Hotel songs will measure up to the lyrical genius of this one.
Lisa is a fool.
I think the rules are cool.
I'm falling in the pool!